What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Let's Learn Angular series, which is actually the third video because we started counting at 0, like classic computer nerds. And this is a series where I'm kind of recording myself as if I'm on a live stream, only I'm not. That way I'm not distracted by all the comments going up and down. And yeah, the idea is to record myself learning something in real time, with as few edits as possible, so you can watch me kind of stumble through things, and hopefully there's something that you can take away. I find I learn better when I see people overcome challenges rather than just present something that's like really well polished and thought out, and they've sort of skipped all the things that they got hung up on. So all of that said, let's jump in to where we left off yesterday. What did we do yesterday? We wrote down some definitions of things, or rather, I guess I did in my own words. So we learned about what directives are, what a component is, a little bit about a pipe and a service, and we didn't quite tick off any of our learning objectives, but like I said, these are going to kind of evolve over time, and really we could technically add one here, which is just like learn how to scaffold an Angular app, right? We did that yesterday with the Angular CLI. And today we are going to, now that we've scaffolded our application, we're just going to jump into that tutorial. I believe we were, where were we? We did the create a project, right? Finished all of that. And you know what? Actually, we didn't. So yeah, this is where we left off, is actually just serving the application. We kind of walked through it, got a feel of everything that there is. And today we'll continue off from here. It looks like it's going to tell us to make some adjustments to our application. So yeah, let's get started. And actually, I'm just going to jump back into the code editor really quick and make sure we are serving our application again. So I believe that was ng serve and it was -- open. Sweet, and we're up and running. And I'm just going to switch back over here. Okay, so we have the app running. So Angular components. The page you see is the application shell. The shell is controlled by an Angular component named app component. Components are the fundamental building blocks of Angular applications. They display data on the screen, listen for user input, and take action based on that input. Cool. So we kind of figured that out yesterday when we wrote down our definition of what a component is. So that seems to be in alignment with our understanding, right? Make changes to the application. So open the project in your favorite editor or IDE and navigate to the source app folder to make some changes to the starter application. You'll find the implementation of the shell app component distributed over 3 files, which is app.component.ts. So this is the class written in TypeScript. App.component.html, which is going to be our template. Excuse me. And app.component.css, which is going to be where we put our styles. So yeah, let's hop over into VS Code, close out that terminal in the background, and I will just start by closing the tabs that we had open from yesterday. If we go source app, we should see app component TS and component HTML and component CSS, which we kind of took a look at this yesterday, but let's get all 3 of these files open. Don't need the navigation open anymore. And yeah, again, just to recap from yesterday, we kind of already figured out that, the selector is sort of used to make like an element that can be used in a template. So if you go over to app component, you're gonna see, I guess it wouldn't be in here, right? But app component was, where did we find that yesterday? I think we found it in the index.html, maybe. You know what? Maybe, I don't remember. We'll just keep following through the tutorial and maybe we will come across it. But yeah, basically app component, or what did we call it here? Oh, we did call it app root. So yeah, that's how this gets used. It becomes available in the index.html, which, since we're not like linking the JavaScript, makes me think maybe Angular is sort of turning that into like a native web component to make it available here. But I'm sure we will find out for sure. And yeah, in this case, all the styles are just embedded directly in our HTML. And like we learned yesterday, if you have a variable, or I guess it's like, what do you call it in JavaScript? Like a instance, or like a property. If you have a property here on your class and it's public, this becomes available in your template. So if we go down, I don't know, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Don't know if we can find it just going like this. No, that finds the tag, but yeah, let me just do a search for this. Here we go. Yeah, so this is dynamic content with the templating language, which is coming from here. And yeah, let's jump back into the tutorial. So change the application title, open the component class file, app.component.ts, and change the value of the title property to Tour of Heroes. Okay. Looks like it already is. Oh, I guess it's somewhat different, right? Let's just take a look in the app itself and see where we see that title. So we see the title here, Tour-of Heroes. We're gonna go over here and just change that to like title cased Tour of Heroes. Save that, back over to the app, and you can see Angular automatically rebuilt because it's kind of just watching all our files in the background and rebuilding as we go, which is very nice. Let's see. So we did that. Open the component template file and delete the default template generated by the CLI. Replace it with the following line of HTML. Okay, so I just copy that to my clipboard. I'll select all of this, delete it, and we'll just paste that title there, save it, and we can switch back into Chrome, over to this tab. Now all we have is this super fancy, glorious looking title. Amazing. Okay, the double curly braces are Angular's interpolation binding syntax. Sounds like terminology. I don't know if we really need to add this to our little glossary thing, but why not? Interpolation binding. I'm not gonna write much. It's this. Whoops. Whenever you have some interpolated thing. That's what it is. Okay. This interpolation binding presents the component's title property value inside the HTML header tag. The browser refreshes and displays the new application title. Add application styles. Most apps strive for a consistent look across the application. Usually, that's true. The CLI generated an empty style CSS for this purpose. Put your application-wide styles there. And so yeah, I'm not gonna bother reading too much into this. Looks like we got some heading styles, some H2, H3 styles, adding a little margin around the body, and then let's see, we've got a style for some inputs. So I'm guessing we're gonna have some form data eventually. So let's grab that. Head over to our CSS file. I'm gonna paste that, and if we go back into the browser tab, you know, got a little bit of style to our title, right? Not so black and white anymore. All right, final code review. Here are the code files discussed on this page. I really like when tutorials do this in general, because when you're like following along and you're just seeing like a little code snippet here and there, it's easy to get lost and make mistakes. So it's nice to see the completed, like all the code that would go in each file at this point. But I don't think we ran into any issues, so we don't need that. So in summary, you created the initial application structure using the Angular CLI. You learned that Angular components display data You use the double curly braces of interpolation to display the application title. And for whatever reason, they don't have next buttons in this tutorial. That's fine. We'll just go over here. It's not that inconvenient, I guess, is it? What's this edit button do? Oh, takes you to the GitHub. That's neat. Okay. Anyway, the application now has a basic title. Next, you will create a new component to display hero information and place that component in the application shell. They keep referring to this like application shell. Is that, do they just mean like the root component? Is that what they mean? I'm gonna kind of, this seems like Angular lingo. Let's add that in here. Just say application shell. Whoops, didn't mean to make that bold. I think it just means the root component? Question mark? Okay. For the sample application that this page describes, see the live example. We already checked it out. We don't need to. Create the heroes component. Yeah, we're gonna make our first component. Using the Angular CLI, generate a new component named heroes. So that's really cool. The CLI gives us the ability to just do this instead of hand bombing our components. So I'm gonna try to remember what it said to use, and let's we're gonna need a new terminal here. So let me go. We can leave this one running in the background and just do a new one. It was ng component, and what was it again? Oh, sorry, generate. Ng generate component, and then the name, lowercase. So I'm assuming it's just gonna kind of type everything for us. Did I type heroes properly? I did. Heroes plural is like kind of weird, isn't it? All right, so what did that do? Also, out of curiosity, when I look at my version control here. Oh, so wait. Did the CLI tool make our first commit for us? I guess it did, and I sort of wasn't even paying attention to that. Let me just real quick close this. Can I get rid of that in VS Code? Does that go away, or is it kind of? That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it made an initial commit for us, which I actually meant to do. So, but I forgot. Angular already did it for us, so that's neat. So yeah, we made some changes to these guys. Let's put this in first. Yeah, we had that one and component TS. We'll just say yeah, I don't know, complete step 1. It's not too important that we track all of this, but it might help because this is sort of a YouTube series. Okay. So what did it do? It looks like it updated this module file. I'm gonna close that terminal. So what did it do here? Well, yeah, supposedly it created this component. It imports it into this app module and then adds it to our list of declarations here. And it looks like that's it. So I'm assuming this is what makes this actually available inside of our app. Let's see what else. It added our CSS, which is blank. It added a template for us, which is just a p tag. It's fine. It did this here. Got us started with a test. So that's pretty cool. And the actual meat and potatoes of it, which is our component. So we got our component decorator here. Automatically set up the selector and the template and the styles. Excuse me again. Empty constructor, and then assuming some sort of like setup is gonna go in here. Cool. I'm just gonna close all of this just to clean up the screen a bit, and we'll put in a commit and just say generate hero component. Yeah, do it. All right. And then we'll switch back into the tutorial. So the CLI creates a new folder, source app heroes, and generates the 3 files of the hero component along with a test file. The heroes component class file is as follows. And we already looked at this in VS Code. You always import the component symbol from the Angular core library and annotate the component class with @component. @component is a decorator function that specifies the Angular metadata for the component. The CLI generated 3 metadata properties: selector, which is the component's CSS element selector; template URL, the location of the component's template file; and the style URLs, the location of the component's private CSS styles. So I wonder, these must be, when they say private, I guess they're saying that they're scoped to the component. Which that makes sense that they would do that you wouldn't want styles associated with a component to like bleed outside and affect other components in your application, right? The CSS element selector app heroes matches the name of the HTML element that identifies this component within a parent component's template. The ng on init is a lifecycle hook. Angular calls ng on init shortly after creating a component. It's a good place to put initialization logic. Always export the component class so you can import it elsewhere, like in the app module. Okay, I think we can probably slow down just a little bit here, because there's a couple things that are kind of coming into place. One, whoops, I didn't mean to go to VS Code. I want Notion. First of all, we learned how to create a component, right? So that's definitely a learning objective. And I think I'm just going to kind of create a section here for components. So basically, high level, I know like components are directives. We kind of uncovered that in the last one. To create a component, you use CLI. What was it? It was ng generate component, and then name of component. This scaffolds the component template styles and a test file. Also updates the app module to import the component, and that's another thing. So yeah, components need to be imported into a module in order to be used. Yeah, is there anything else we kind of have learned so far? I feel like this kind of is fine. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Add a hero property is the next section. So let's add a hero property to the heroes component for a hero named Windstorm. Ooh, all right. Go on over here. I'll for the heroes component, and I'll just this seems like a good spot. We'll say, is it just hero? The variable? Yeah. And sure, we'll use their example, call it Windstorm. Yeah. So let's show the hero, open the hero's component template file, delete the default text generated, and replace it with a data binding to the new hero property. So if we go to, hero template, and I'll just say hero. We go check out the browser now. Oh, I guess we're not using it anywhere yet, right? So I think I know how to do that, but let's just follow along with the tutorial. So show the hero's component view. To display the hero's component, you must add it to the template of the shell app component. Remember that app heroes is the element selector. for the heroes component. So add an app heroes element to the app component template file just below the title. So we're gonna go to app component, which is this doodad. Nope, sorry, not the TypeScript file, but the template. And yeah, we'll just add a... No, wait, what is this? Where am I? This isn't the place I'm looking for. I want the app component template. Here we go. This is the guy. This is my guy. And so we should have hero. And who would do that with those spaces? Crazy. Go on over here. Failed to compile. Oh, what happened? Let me go over to where we're running this. In app component HTML, error occurs in the template app component. Not exist on type app component. Oh, heroes not. Oh yeah, what was I doing here? That makes no sense. We need what did we call it? Anybody remember? We called it app-heroes. Yeah, so let me go back to our component template, and we'll call this app-heroes. Was it heroes or hero? I guess we'll find out in just half a second. Go back over here. Failed to compile. Yeah, go back to the hero component. We called it app heroes. So if I go to the app template, I should probably spell heroes properly. That would maybe help, right? Seems reasonable to me. There we go. It's there. So let me clean up a little bit of the what's the unnecessary stuff. Don't need that open. Let's just walk through how all of this is kind of wired together. Why does this work? This here works because we're in our app component HTML, which I believe because of this, we have a module where app component and heroes component are, this is my understanding so far, like these kind of can be, like, I don't know, can I use app component inside heroes component? Like the documentation, or not the documentation, but the tutorial makes it sound like, you know, this is like root, which can have a heroes component inside of it. But what if I went inside the app component and said heroes component? What happens? Does everything blow up? Maybe. We'll go to our heroes component, and let's just say, like, this should break, right? What do you call it? App root. Like, this should just fail. I mean, it compiles. Let's open up our dev tools, and oh yeah, probably did it start an infinite loop? What happened there? There's no console errors. Oh no, here we go. Maximum call stack size. Yeah, that's just because I did that thing. Did the infinite thing. So what if I go back to app and I didn't do this? Does that break our accidental infinite loop? Okay, so I can't use... Oh, I see. No, I don't know what I was thinking there. Must be tired or something. It's like I have a baby and I don't sleep anymore, something like that, right? So yeah, let's for those of you who didn't quite follow, we go right from the top. Like the entry point of our application is this index HTML, which is somewhere in here, but I have my code editor blown up so big I can't find it, so I'm just gonna type it here. So you come in, you got your app root. This is what makes it the app root. It's the first component that renders. This one renders, which is this dude. And basically, if we want that hero component to display, this is really the only place that we would be able to put it. That's what makes this parent-child relationship. But I think you still do need this registered inside the module. So the fact that app heroes is used inside here, I wonder if this isn't enough, right? Like if I delete that from app modules, what if I don't register that? Or sorry, not the app. I meant heroes component. I want to see. So this fails to compile, probably because it's trying to pull something in, like the like our app root or our app shell that they called it, or component shell, something like that, right? Let's go back to our notes. What do they call it? Application shell. It's trying to use something that doesn't exist within the module that it's been registered with. That's the way I'm pulling all this together so far. Cool. So let's get back over here. Make sure we're in a passing state. Let me go. I'm gonna close up a bunch of this stuff because I feel like things are getting messy. We're gonna go here. We got the app heroes component. I did register it in the module, right? So this should be working now. What did I break? Oh, it's reloading. Did I break something? Probably didn't fix the heroes component, right? Yeah, get rid of that. Okay. Madness. There we go. Okay, we are back to all of that working. Let's see. Is this a commit? I think that's a commit. All right, what did we do? We added the app heroes to the to that app. So we'll just say display a hero on the app shell. And yeah, close off a few things again. Keep that editor clean. And next, create a hero interface. A real hero is more than just a name. Create a hero interface in its own file in the source app folder. Give it ID and name properties. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna go in here and look for source app, and it wanted it, yeah, right here. So new file. We're gonna call this hero.ts, which is going to be an interface. So basically, we're saying that, why is this formatted not good? What? Format, maybe it's width, prettier. I don't know what happened there. That's fine. So yeah, we're gonna have any object that is of type hero is gonna have to have an ID, which must be a number, and it's gonna have to have a name, which must be a string. So it says to return to the heroes component class and import the hero interface. And then we're gonna refactor the component's hero property to be of type hero, and we'll initialize it with an ID of 1 and a name of Windstorm. So let's go back to the heroes component. And if I go down to the hero, we're gonna say that this is type hero. And then control dot and VS Code should be able to automatically import that for us. And now TypeScript should be yelling, saying type string is not assignable to type hero, which is correct. So we'll say the name is that, and the ID is going to be 1. And if I close that object like this, TypeScript should be happy. And then obviously, what's not going to work here is now in our hero template. It should be hero.name, but let's just follow along with the tutorial and let it tell us that. So it says that our stuff should look like this stuff, and It pretty much does, minus the semicolon. Ugh. The page no longer displays properly because you changed the hero from a string to an object. So to show the hero object, we update the binding in the template to announce the hero's name and show both ID and name in a details layout like this. Okay, so yeah, I could have just went like name, and that would have worked. If we go back over here, we can see it shows up, and then just so that you guys at home see what happens when I don't do that, it just is, you know, just object. But we want to show more than just the name, so let's take what they gave us, which is a title here that just says what the name is, followed by details, and then we're just going to have a span of ID and then print the ID and then name and names. We're kind of showing the name twice for whatever reason. But yeah, this is what it looks like now. Pretty cool. And yeah, so the browser refreshes and displays the hero's information. Saw that. Oh yeah, I guess that could be a commit. Refactor the hero component to have name and ID. Format with the uppercase pipe. Cool. So we learned a little bit about pipes yesterday, or at least we read like the definition of them. Looks like now we get to learn how to actually use one. So we're going to modify the hero.name binding like this. So there's this pipe, literally a pipe character followed by a function, which I'm assuming is what the actual pipe is. Oh, and this is a link, which probably takes us to a reference of a whole bunch of other pipes, or no, just to this one. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so let's do that then. This is just built in, I guess. It's like for free. Which one didn't want me to do this on? The title. So if I did here inside the title, we do pipe and say upper case, and we go back to the browser. You see Windstorm is now all uppercase, so I didn't have to like import that or anything. Uppercase is just something that's given to you for free in Angular. Cool. The word uppercase and the interpolation binding right after the pipe operator activates the built-in uppercase pipe. Pipes are a good way to format strings, currency amounts, dates, and other display data. Angular ships with several built-in pipes, and you can even create your own. Good to know. Now let's I guess that's a commit. So we'll just say format the hero title with a pipe. Did that get committed? I'm moving too fast. Let's just say always, so I can stop doing that every time. Edit the hero. Users should be able to edit the hero name in an input text box. The text box should display it should both display the hero's name property and update that property as the user types. That means data flows from the component class out to the screen, and from the screen back into the class. So to automate that data flow set up a two-way data binding between the input form element and the hero.name property. Okay, so let's learn two-way binding. Refactor the details area in the sorry, I was just checking the time. This has been going on for what, half an hour now? Okay. How much longer do we have to go through this? I think we're gonna learn about the two-way data binding, and then we're gonna call this episode 2, or the end of episode 2. So refactor details area in the hero's component template, so it looks like this. So we have a div with a label for our input, and then our input is using this interesting syntax that we haven't seen yet. And then looks like this is interpolating somehow, right? And then we got placeholders. So I'm just gonna copy this, go to the hero's component template. Sorry, did I say replace it or add refactor the details? So So I'm getting rid of the ID or what? I'm assuming it means just the name. I was a little unclear on what to change there, but I'm assuming it means just this, not also the ID. So does this already work? No, it failed to compile. It failed to compile because errors occurred. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit because I'm having a hard time seeing things in here. Can't bind ng model since it isn't a known property. Oh, I'm assuming we have to input that into the component probably, right? So let's yeah, back in here. I see. So ng model is Angular's 2A data binding syntax. Here it binds the hero name property to the HTML text box so that data can flow in both directions from the hero name property to the text box and from the text box back to the hero name. I'm assuming, yeah, so it's supposed to tell us about this error. So the missing forms module. Notice that the application stopped working when you added ng model. To see the error, open the browser development tools and look in the console for a message like that, which we already saw. Although ng model is a valid Angular directive, it isn't available by default. It belongs to the optional forms module and you must opt in to using it. Okay. So it looks like we got to go a little bit further to finish this 2A data binding. So we'll do that. So we have a clean spot to end this episode. So app module. Angular needs to know how the pieces of your application fit together and what other files and libraries the application requires. This information is called metadata. Some of the metadata is in the component decorators that you added to your component classes. Other critical metadata is in the ng module decorators. The most important ng module decorator annotates the top level app module class. And the Angular CLI generated an app module class in source app module.ts, which we already saw. When it created the project, this is where you opt in to the forms module. So we're going to import forms module, probably in app module, open app module, and import the forms module symbol from the Angular forms library. Okay. So we'll go, we'll close all this and then go to our app module file. And sure, yeah, we'll import from, it said at Angular forms. And if I go back here, I should get a little bit of, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. What was it called? Form something. ng, what was it called? Forms module. Forms module right there. There we go. So that's imported. Then add forms module to the end module metadata imports array. So declarations, I guess, is for components. Imports would be for, it said that this is technically a directive, right? Even though components are directives too. This is like lower level. You think of like components being like a high level directive. So we'll import our forms module. I wonder if that was enough. So if I go back over here, is this building now? It is. Sweet. So you can see this is our two-way data binding happening where if I refresh, this is going to say windstorm. So the data that we set up in our component on initial render is bound to our template here, and it's bound to the input, but also the input actually is bound back into the component. So if I change the value in the input, it updates the value that we have in our component, which then causes it to render differently here, right? Yeah, hopefully that made sense to everybody. It made sense to me. So what is it saying here? We did that. When the browser refreshes, the application should work again. You can edit the hero's name and see the changes reflected immediately in the H2 above the text box. So yeah, let me make a commit here, and we'll just say add two-way data binding. to the hero details. Now I will commit that, and I think that's a perfect spot to leave off. And in the next video, we will just continue on through the series until it makes sense to kind of cut off. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that there was something that you learned by watching me learn. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Dan Fletcher Dev. I also do sometimes stream on Twitch, and you can find me. My name on Twitch is the original Fletch. Thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.